Hey, what is up guys? Guitar here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. Alright, so let's talk about the banner. If you guys are not aware, the first character in the JP server, School Uniform Neru, and of course RIO. So I want to cover this particular one. They got released recently and the banner is going away soon. Now initially when the skill kit came out during the live stream, we sort of get a rough idea of what they can do, but additional information have been added ever since because their banner was now available, right? Now too bad both School Uniform Neru and RIO, we don't really get to see their potential yet because currently in JP server they have the Gebura boss, and this is going to be of this particular boss, and this boss is a little bit different, right? You basically use special students, they basically get boosted right there, or is it the striker students don't do as much damage? So you can see a lot of players, basically the meta there is going to use Satsuki and the idol students. So that's going to be where some bosses, you know, even no matter how strong RIO is, no matter how strong Uniform Neru is, or Mika or whoever, they are still going to be bosses that you still have to rely on the special students. So this one, they basically highlight the School Uniform Asuna way more, which is a bit of a bummer, right? Hopefully in the next upcoming one we will be able to look at the others. But before we proceed and talk about these two, I wanted to remind you guys that the 100 free pulls is still going on in global server. So make sure you guys are aware of that. 100 free pulls is going to basically be available for this particular banner right here, which is Swimsuit, Hiyori, and Swimsuit Saori. Now, you are able to stack them up to the last day before you consume the 100 free pulls and to do all at once. Sure, you can do that, right? You can see the free recruitment number right here. However, I think a lot of players are not aware. Some new players thought that you could basically use these, carry this over, save them for Kisaki banner. You cannot. Alright, so please use them for this particular banner. You have to recruit either Swimsuit Saori or Swimsuit Hiyori. Now, if you don't know who is better, Saori basically gets a little bit much more usage than Hiyori. But if you don't have Mika, maybe Hiyori could be good or decent for your account. So that's going to be something to consider. So make sure you guys are aware, you cannot save this for other banners. This is locked to this particular banner. The 100 free pulls must be consumed on these characters. Now let's talk about it. School Uniform Neru and RIO. So first things first, these two are the fast characters in JP, and if you guys are not aware, School Uniform Neru, she pretty much competes with Mika in a way, right? In terms of she's a piercing damage type. Now sure, they both have different armor type, but in that case, you can probably swap them around accordingly. So she is going to be a very different student right here. You can see she has 2 EX skill. So basically the first one enters into a different state, put yourself and one enemy into the dual state for 70 seconds, and then when attacking enemy in dual state, increase damage multiplier by 0.2. Immediately draw 1 EX skill, so you basically get the additional one, the second EX skill. Now the second one, this one has this thing called the spirit, right? You get 1 spirit, and this thing stack up to 5, can do up to 1400% damage to one enemy. When the skill reverts to bring it on, reset spirit count. Now the normal skill right here, you can see increase piercing efficiency by 58%. That's pretty decent, right? Increase normal attack firing range by 100 and attack by 21.2% for the passive skill. And last but not least, the sub skill, outgoing damage increased by 24%. Each time you gain spirit, increase the damage multiplier of the skill by 0.35. Now, we have yet to see how well she performs, but right now I'm still a little bit skeptical if she will be able to replace Mika or not, because they two are basically right now competing in the category of being the best piercing type single target DPS, right? So Mika still have a couple of advantage to her. She is able to constantly crit, alright? Her ability is basically she guarantees crits. That might be something that she will have as an advantage. Her multiplier is 1540%. Neru's one is 1400%. It's about the same, right? Neru does have piercing efficiency right here. Mika doesn't really have any built-in stuff. She does have a basic skill right there. Oh wait, she does have, which is 49.4%. What does Neru get additionally? 577 for attack, firing range. Okay, so she basically gets extra attack right there. So yeah, it's going to be hard to compare both of them. Ideally, it is still going to be... I feel like they are both really similar. Like in terms of the stuff, sure, in some situation I can see, especially if you're trying to get the terrain advantage, you are going to want to use Neru over Mika. And with a new difficulty in a JP server, right, they got lunatic difficulty right now going on. So that's going to be some factor that you want to consider. But I'm not sure if new players, are you able to get away with not having Neru, right? Ideally, you still want to pull for the fast student, but you never know, sometimes you're super unlucky during the 6% banner, which can happen. But this is pretty much what she can do, because she enters a different state entirely because of her 2 EX skill condition. Sometimes it can mess up the order depending on how you're trying to rotate the skills around. Alright, so basically you're trying to like buff with Ui first, or your cost half reduction, and then you're going to go with like, let's say Kisaki, or you know, Ako, Himari, whoever that you're going to buff them with, right? So it is going to be a little bit finicky in that sense, whereas I think Mika is going to have that simplicity in terms of buffs. She is going to have that advantage, I feel like, in terms of like much more simpler to use in most cases and most circumstances. So let's talk about RIO. Now, I find her much more interesting because I do think that she is going to be pretty much the meta moving forward if you are using a striker student. Alright, so striker student in your team, in your roster, you are going to be able to benefit from her. So she is going to be a Mystic Elastic, but you know, her damage type and armor type don't matter as much, being a special student. So you can see right here, she's a 2 cost EX skill character. She basically draws an EX skill card, duplicate allies EX skill card, and the duplicated card can be used 1 time. Now, not only is she duplicating the card, she is also applying attack buff as well. So this is one thing that basically changes my perspective of her. I think like during the live stream, a lot of players were mentioning, will she be worth it, right? Because you're using 2 costs, and then you're, let's say you're applying it to Mika, which is like, let's say Mika on half cost is 3 costs, right? So now you still have to use another additional 3 costs, which is 5 costs. So 2 plus 3. So it can be a little bit expensive if you think of it that way, right? But after looking at the attack percent buff that she has, it's not super high, right? 51% is decent, alright? Himari has way more attack percent. I think Himari has up to like 105%, alright? So this is going to be half of Himari's value, but I would say this is still pretty decent. Alright, you are able to get away with not having any attack percent buffer at all. 51% is going to be way better than what Ui can provide, right? Because it's the idea here is because Ui also has a little bit of buff in that particular sense, but the problem is hers is just so little, right? 16.1% is just very, very small. So ideally you still want to use Himari, but for RIO right here, I think you can get away with just using her and then Kisaki to improve your EX skill damage. I think that too is going to be more than enough. Now, as you can see, cost of duplicated card is the base cost of target's EX skill -1. So you are still going to get that cost reduction. That is going to be very, very helpful as well, right? And it goes down to 0. Now, the rest of it seems pretty generic. She is able to reduce defense. Now, I do like that 25%, alright? Pretty good, can do a little bit of damage right there. Increase attack and of course increase attack of all allies by 17.3%. Too bad this is not a cost regen kind of thing. So ideally, you still want to use another cost regen character. Alright, you can either pair her with Swimsuit Shiroko, you can either pair her with Himari. Probably doesn't make sense because they both, you know, she already gives attack. In this case for RIO, you probably want to pair her. I think the best one is going to be Kisaki. So you get the cost regen for the sub skill, and then for her you get the attack percent buff. And then if that's going to be the case, let's say you are using Kisaki plus RIO. Alright, so one is EX skill amplification, one is attack percent buff. In that case, you might need to bring in Dress Aru, alright, because you can't really use Ako, you can't really use New Year Fuuka in that case. So now you gotta rely on Dress Aru to give you crit damage, which I don't know. I feel like this is going to be where she shines. Her value might go up a little bit. I tried to like, you know, see if I can spook her out or something during the fast banner, but I didn't get her, which is a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully one day I'll get her. Been really looking forward for her. She's the only striker student right now that can give like massive crit damage alongside with Dress Ako, which is also another limited character, but at least Dress Aru is not limited. So I can see that maybe, potentially, that Dress Aru's value might go up a little bit. considering that, you know, all of this crit damage right here. 83%, very, very good to pair her with a bunch of other characters that can, you know, guaranteed crit like Mika and stuff, right? She also have the ability to heal right here as well. She's just overall a very strong character, can also reduce crit resistance. So hopefully, you know, if you guys have her, consider building her. I do think that I can see this tree being a constant meta spot, alright, once, you know, RIO, Kisaki, and Dress, Aru, this tree is going to be the consistent one, right? So, of course, Ako Himari may still be there if you need like a second team, but once you're running, you know, once Torment Raids and Lunatic difficulty comes out, those are going to be the insane one, right? I think most players are going to move out from insane to doing the next level. I think RIO is definitely going to make a lot of the insane difficulty or torment difficulty or whatever much easier for sure, because of this. It's going to make cycling the EX skill way faster, and definitely with that you're just going to be able to improve your score overall. It shouldn't be too difficult to one team torment even, right, with the right setup. But yeah, that's just what I think overall. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So we're gonna have all of these students soon, and then after that Marina Chipao, and then we're gonna get Swimsuit Hinata rerun alongside with Bunny Girls. So my guess is somewhere end of this month or early next month. That's gonna be when we'll be getting Kisaki and Reijo. So make sure you guys pull for this. Alright, these are going to be the next meta students to look out for. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.